Get that paper, told that Glock, that's how we live. Yeah, my life's a game, I pray I don't get killed. They can't believe I got the guap, this shit for real. Can't accept the fact my brother gone, I wanna kill. Yeah, I can't go for that shit don't sit right. Instead of capping to the old nigga, I know what you live like. Ain't worried about all, just fuck these hoes and live life. I grown the drill, I'm smart enough, you gotta know how to.
Tasked with a difficult choice, we see Isagi once again making his return to his home country. Landing in the airport, he's then surrounded and bombarded by questions about his past and his reasoning for returning. Isagi says nothing, as he only has one thing on his mind: find the person responsible. It's very possible that they're still here within Japan. Meeting up with Ray Dark later in the day, he welcomes Isagi. Seems you made quite the name for yourself. But onto more pressing matters. I'd like you to come with me. Isagi and Ray Dark arrive at the UCHIHA clan estate, still to find nothing, causing anger to fester within the boy. I thought you said there were leads here. Isagi turns with rage in his eyes, but then Ray Dark smiles. There you go. Those eyes. They are the true key to what's being hidden. Isagi wonders what he means, but he turns back, noticing that he can still see the streaks of blood even though they weren't there. Focus, Isagi. Isagi then walks forward, following footprints and even touching the ground, making it to the room where he saw his mother's, her flower vase. It was cracked. He then opens it, touching it, moving the pieces around. In his mind, he then flashes back to the moment where his father shouts for his mother to run. But we see her running into the kitchen instead, grabbing the vase and then slamming it on the back of the man's head, causing some blood to leak upon it. That's all he can see, as his eyes currently aren't strong enough to see anything further. He then breaks out in a cold sweat as blood was coming from his eyes instead of tears. Just what the hell was that, old man? What the hell was that? Ray Dark was paying attention and instead walked over to the vase, noticing it had some dried up blood upon it. You know, we've examined everything in this room, and we wondered just whose blood this was, but there was no record of this person in Japan's database. So, just who was your father truly? For someone to seek him out like this, he must have had motive. But it'll take some time to figure that out. While I have this investigated even further, I'd like you to play in the U20 match for the Japan squad. Your reward for winning will be your crimes pardoned by Japanese officials. Isagi thinks this means nothing until the man explains that him being pardoned will allow him to be a part of the investigation as it's happening. Hearing that and thinking of his mother and father, Isagi was more motivated than ever. Isagi Uchiha, the talented and ambitious striker, found himself in the strategy room of the U20 Japan team, where he encountered the team's captain, Oliver Aiku, and the skilled midfielder, Hitoshi Sai, and their current starting striker, Sendo. As Isagi entered the room, he could sense the tension in the air, especially from Sendo, who seemed to have a look of defiance upon his face. So this is the red-eyed monarch. Looks like some kid to me. Isagi turns to him, wondering just who he was. Paying him no attention at all, he asks their coach to tell him the starting lineup. As soon as he hears Sendo's name, he claimed that to be wrong, as he'll be the one starting at the striker position. Sendo then stands up, asking just who did this brat think he is? Walking over to Isagi and telling him, this isn't the place where he has power. This is Japan, and last time he checked, criminal scum like him don't deserve a chance like this. Isagi activated his Sharingan, slamming Sendo into the wall, causing him to smirk. Go ahead, be the monster we know you are. Isagi looks at him, leaning down to whisper in his ear, one more arrogant word out of your mouth, and I'll show you the wrath of a monarch. Isagi then walks off and the room goes silent. The players and coaches of the U20 team begin their preparation. Training and updating their chemistry is what's most important to them. A lot of individual drills as well as scrimmages would happen as well, with Isagi and Sendo being on opposite sides. In their one final practice, it seemed that there was a match between these two and they were going head to head. This is where Sendo realizes just how far ahead Isagi was in terms of skill alone, being blown away not only by his speed, but his strength, as well as his skill. Sendo was made to look like a fool. His ankles got broken and his ego shattered, with Isagi telling him to bow like the peasant he is, leading to the final goal being assisted to him by Itoshi Sai. With this, the coach believed that the team was now ready to face Blue Lock's 11. Days go by as the stadium was filled up with many who were excited for this match. The U20 team stood in the hallway, awaiting their competitors. Blue Lock's starting 11 walks in, noting that they have two new Gen 11 players on their team, Isagi and Sai. So what could they do to defend against them? Those who were in the midfield and the defensive positions just remained as calm as they could in order to stick to the plan. Walking in, the bright lights of the arena illuminated their jerseys, making these young players begin to shine like never before. This is when we cut over to the weather, as it was seemingly perfect, with the announcers beginning their own speeches. We cut to Isagi's POV, where it seems he was completely blocking out everything. The only thing that was on his mind were the words of Ray Dark. This was his one and only chance to get closer to solving who had killed his parents, so he wouldn't mess this up. Not a chance in the world. Activating the Sharingan immediately and seeing the field, he passes the ball back to Itoshi Sai. "You're the key I need to further awaken." And with that pass, the intense match would begin. The young prodigy dribbles without regard for anyone, as he doesn't struggle at all to get by the Blue Lock defenders, actually making a fool out of them. But Ren, his brother, does come back to apply pressure. These two have a short battle, where we would see the oldest is still far ahead of him, using Ren as a smokescreen to then send a calculated pass to Isagi. With defenders on his back, he then flicks the ball over their heads and spins around them. Trapping the ball once again, he now has open space and looks to make one final run on this play. Iki Nico pulls up, guarding him close, as well as Chigiri tracking him down with his speed. They believe that they have him in a corner, but this is when Isagi smiles. "You call this a defensive scheme? Don't make me laugh at all." This is when we see that under Isagi's uniform, his muscles were more toned than ever from his time in England. Combined with his small future sight with his Sharingan, it allows him. Well, this combo is just very scary to say the least. He sprints right at Nico, dribbling through him with different combos, which allows him to have open space for a shot, as Chigiri couldn't catch up due to his speed. However, Chigiri does find a chance to slide in, blocking his shot attempt alongside Aryu, who has his longer legs extended. What a beautiful run, but the finish won't be seen here today. Isagi then looks. "Great, you're still open and keeping up." Passing it to Itoshi Sai, who then sends it back, as this was a quick 1-2, opening up Isagi for his berserk shot on Gagamaru that leaves him stunned. The announcers then stand out of their seats, exclaiming, "There it is! The U20 strikes first, with no one other than Isagi Uchiha getting the first goal, helped by no one other than Itoshi Sai, a prodigy, with an incredible back and forth pass to set up this berserk shot. Just how will their opponent stop a monster duo like this?" The players on Blue Lock turn towards these two, who fist bump, with both their respective auras being shown. Jinpachi Ego wasn't worried at all actually, as he has a couple plans in place. With Blue Lock resetting the game, they press up the field in order to start their own attack. Ren has the ball, sending it out to the wing, but the U20 midfielders act quickly, defending as well as they can, but since it was Bachira who had the ball, he gets around them easily, following the monster inside his mind. "You know, this is fun. I'm having the time of my life, aren't you?" Talking to the monster, he looks ahead, sensing the same thing from someone else. This is when he sees it. Another monster surfacing on the pitch. Well, let's make this even more interesting for us. Sending the perfect cross out towards the midfield, he attempts to get a header. Well, it was Ren who was getting the header, alongside Aiku, but the ball goes over both of them. Bachira was then seen pointing, stating that the monster was waiting right behind the two of them, and he'll devour them now. Seishiro Nagi appeared performing a perfect volley to score a goal that tied the game. Lifting his fist up into the air, he claims that this is still boring as well. Ryo then jumps on his back, telling Nagi that he will become the world's number one. And overhearing this celebration, Isagi was infuriated. Itoshi Sai could see this, telling his striker to calm down. Don't let such a simple goal get into his head. If he wants to be mad, fine, but you better score with your anger. Isagi then calls these strikers unrefined, and their talents haven't even caught up to their true potential yet. Turning to the clock, he saw that there wasn't much time before this half was over. Isagi then rushes ahead alone when the whistle goes off, as the first thing in front of him was Rin, the brother of Sai. How amusing. You cling on to the thought of defeating him, which blinds you to the opponent right in front of you. Isagi sees his steal attempt with his Sharingan and completely breaks his ankles. He was now in the midfield, as the commentator shouts. It seems that Isagi wants to take on Blue Lock's 11 by himself. No, I don't plan to. I will. Isagi copies the dribbling of Itoshi Sai, combined with the physical speed of Chris Prince, making him dash right around Kira and Ryo, leading to him not being far from the defenders at all. However, Raichi and Karasu were both in his way, but not for long. Isagi spins around Karasu and bodies Raichi. All of you are just so pathetic. The remaining defenders ready themselves, only to watch Isagi take a shooting position from far out. Stay the hell out of my way. Blasting the ball through the tight pocket of space, it explodes into the net, with Gagamaru not being able to reach it due to it going into the top corner perfectly. Isagi turns back to the U20 squad, with his remaining members jumping on his back and celebrating. The commentators grab each other while looking down at the field. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Isagi Uchiha, England's red-eyed monarch, is making his debut here right now today. And it seems he plans on extending his reign over Japan. Just how will Blue Lock's 11 respond? The players on the field then turn to Isagi, calling him a complete monster or a freak, with Isagi turning to them. You all wish to be strikers, and that's fine by me. So I'll crush each one of your dreams to achieve my own destiny. Ren was the one right next to him to question just what that was. Isagi then stopped moving and then turned back to him, lifting his head to show those very same red eyes, uttering one word that cut through the noise like a knife. Vengeance.